It was here on the Elbe River back on April 25th, 1945 that the Red Army met with the American Army on the banks of the River Elbe. That lady in the car there just gave me the finger. Friendly East Germans. Bist du?
Fingerprints from real people that have been in here.
The capital, in a good communist fashion, must have the greatest team of the country.
We don't have in East Germany, so...
Cheers. Prost. I'll keep exploring. So it was on this day that American forces and the Red Army Soviet forces met right here on the bridge behind me, shaking hands in joy, marking the fact that they had effectively defeated Germany. They had cut Germany in two, and what was left to once and for all mark the end of the Nazi rule over Germany was just a slow march, an almost ceremonial march, a few hundred kilometers north up to Berlin, of the capital, to once and for all put an end to Mr. Adolf Hitler, the Führer himself. And here we see a picture of the moment of the American and the Russian army meeting on the bridge, not the very bridge that is standing there today, but the bridge that was there back in 1945. And this very moment effectively also marks the last time that US forces and Russian/Soviet forces was collaborating and working together. Because as we know, after the Second World War came the Cold War and the creation of West Germany and German Democratic Republic, or East Germany. Check out the monument here. We have 1945 standing up there, the hammer and the sickle, Soviet system, Soviet symbol I should say, also up there on the wings of this thing that's standing on top of this monument here. It is a fascinating, beautiful monument. And over here behind us, we have a massive castle, the Torgau castle. Now, if you're anything like me, having grown up in a Western world country, we have never really been taught anything about what life was really like inside East Germany, besides from the fact of Stasi and the oppressive state. What was life really like? What was daily life like? What was the culture here? What was... That lady in the car there just gave me the finger. Friendly East Germans. Well, that is what we are here to explore today. Beyond the Stasi. What was life like in real East Germany, in real German Democratic Republic? Check out on the other side of the monument here, we have another friendship monument. This time only thanking the Soviet people, the Soviet army on the left-hand side, and the local Torgau residents on the right-hand side, in gratitude for the efforts of the Soviet people towards Torgau. As you can see, people are still to this day putting flowers here in gratitude to the Soviet people and the Soviet army and their efforts of helping Torgau, and I presume East Germany as a whole. So with that said, let's go and explore Torgau, because in Torgau there's a very, very interesting monument that can tell us something more in detail about the harsh, brutal side of East Germany and the Stasi and how they treated the youth. Ich bin als Mensch geboren und ich will als Mensch heraus. If I'm not mistaken, that means I was born as a human and I will leave here as a human. Another victim of this house says, "Today I'm trying to kill myself. I'd rather be dead at Christmas or New Year than here." And this was said by René M. on the 3rd of November 1989, only about a week before the fall of the German Democratic Republic, or East Germany. Torgau was simply a place to break your will by any means, to make you amenable in every way possible, to destroy you, to train you to become a yes-sayer. So the house here, the Jugendwerkhof where I'm at, was a prison-like camp where the GDR omitted people, youth, that they deemed as difficult. Now, what does difficult entail in the time of GDR? Well, anyone who wasn't necessarily a yes-sayer, anyone who had the audacity to listen to Western music or maybe tell a slight joke about the system in which they were living. The Jugendwerkhof here opened in 1964, and during its time of open, about 4,000 youth, difficult youth, had been omitted. And as you could see from the quotes from some of the inmates here, the point of this was basically a Stasi concentration camp to re-educate difficult youth. Now, what measures did they take to re-educate the difficult youth?
This is here.
Yeah, this is outside where we was just stood.
Yes.
Right, so the room here that the lady took me to is basically how you came in. So you would come in here, first it says stand still, then you would come to the next stop here where it says undress. So here you would be asked to undress of your civil clothes, the clothes that you arrived in. At the next stop it says hair off. Earrings. We have a few earrings here from people that were from girls that have been omitted in here. All jewelry, all personality, your hair had been cut off. The exact same way as the Nazi concentration camps worked. After you'd been stripped down and your hair had been cut off, you would be put into a cell similar to the one we see here, where you would be put in solitary confinement, sitting on your own until you had learned the house rules by heart. Upon which you would be admitted to an interview with the leader of this Jugendwerkhof, of this youth camp, in which the duration of your stay would be determined, but the time of your liberation was not to be confirmed.
Everything was done collectively. In the case of individual misconduct, collective punishments were also imposed, which were then usually associated with the educator taking advantage of this and saying, "You may not do this or that because so-and-so did this and that. Take care of him yourselves. Teach him a lesson." Then he left and knew exactly what was going on.
Group punishment was used deliberately. People were set against each other. The educators knew that. That was their method.
I once experienced someone getting beaten up in my bedroom. It was 3 or 4 boys who piled into him. At the time, I was still a group functionary, and I would have had to press the bell button in the bedroom to inform the educator. I didn't do that. If I had done it, the 3 or 4 boys would have not only beaten him, but me as well. And the educator wouldn't have opened up anyway. I was aware of that.
Du hast hier Wirt an Jugendwerkhof.
Ja.
That is you. Bist du?
Ja, das ist
Oh my God. So this man was imprisoned here.
4 Monate.
4 Monate. 4 months. Wow. Und habt sie Probleme später?
Ja, es ging. Jeder ist anders.
Jeder ist anders.
Jeder ist anders, ja.
You get past it.
Ich hab's geschafft.
Heute bist du okay?
Ja,
Wie viele andere Jugend?
Eins davor noch.
Eins pro
Eins
Wohnung.
davor, da war ich 3 Jahre.
3 Jahre. 3 Jahre.
Ja.
Ein Mensch, 3 Jahre. Here. Wow. So this guy has his own file. He's basically realizing his own past. Having been imprisoned here for 4 months. He was showing me his own file, his own prison file, his own personal file there. And he's saying one person was here for 3 years in a row. Here you see how difficult it was to escape from it here. All pillars would have been lined with barbed wire and these massive spikes on top of all possible escapes on the walls. I was asking this guy, trying to ask this guy if he was okay today. Unfortunately, he doesn't speak any English, so he's not able to understand me, but he said, as you saw, by his look, that yeah, okay, it's sort of like, it seems like he's put the time behind him, to put it past him, and that's just what it is, sort of thing. Wow, insane.
I was then in the cell for a total of 21 days. 21 days! For me, that was the worst thing. Today, I have claustrophobia and anxiety when doors are closed. I can never get rid of those images, and when I see that cell, everything comes back up.
So I think we're getting a special treatment to see the cells that they were omitted into. Also, diese wird Jugendwirkung. Ja, okay.
Hier war die Sturmbahn.
Sturmbahn, for sport. Okay. So the sports facilities would have been here in this part. Alright, so I'm sure you could understand. I couldn't show you exactly where this door was.
Dieses Arrest, dieses Fuchsbau, das nannte man Fuchsbau.
Fuchsbau, like a low cell. Oh my god. So people would have been sitting in here. Can you imagine that? I don't know if these are actual hands. Fingerprints from real people that have been in here or not, I don't know. It is so small. I'm not exactly a tower, but look at this. Here's the door. You can imagine. And here's these solitary confinement cells. Just a little bed like this. Imagine that. As the guy was sitting there, 4 months in this. But this was the solitary confinement cell that they would be put into after omission into the prison here, into this youth camp. Some people here would stay 12 days, 14 days, 2 weeks in these cells here, getting absolutely broken. That is the quote that we saw outside. I was omitted here as a human, and I will also leave here as a human. And as you can imagine as well, reports from previous inmates into this youth camp here say that so many of them suffer from claustrophobia, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Here you can see literal, real original carvings into the walls here from people, inmates here. Cell number, I guess this is patient number 5026. So, 135,000 young people were admitted to such youth camps as this one here in Torgau during the reign of the GDR, during the 40 years that the German Democratic Republic existed. Whilst this one here in Torgau was the most feared of all of these youth camps around. So the question then remains, after having seen the most brutal, heartbreaking side of police oppression, state oppression in GDR, the question remains, why was it exactly that the GDR was renowned as probably the most hardcore police state, the most hardcore oppressive state of all of the Eastern Bloc countries? Now, my theory to answer this question is that during the 1920s and 30s, like all of Europe, communism was on the rise, also here in Germany. But when Hitler came into power, all these communists had to flee the country. Most of them fled to the Soviet Union because for the Nazis, communists were the arch enemy. But when the Second World War started, Stalin saw all Germans living in the Soviet Union territory as potential spies, meaning that only the most hardcore, loyal communists and comrades were able to survive. Everybody else was sent to the gulags. And it was these very people that came back to Germany, to East Germany, to take reign and control over East Germany by the order of Joseph Stalin. the most hardcore communist that had been agile enough to survive. You can imagine that such characters had to be tough, brutal characters. So Walter Ulbricht was the first de facto leader of the East German Socialist Unity Party. And Walter Ulbricht was such a communist to the extent that he tried to collectivize agriculture to such an extent that even Stalin himself had to ask him to just chill down a little bit with all that communism and collectivism. And as a consequence of this brutal, extreme communism, many people fled, especially in the beginning of East German reign. Check out this door here in the castle that we're in. Beautiful, isn't it? And now, that was the second weakness about the East German state, that for the first 15 years or so, up until 1961, when the Berlin Wall was created, movement was relatively free between East and West Germany. The actual land border that went all the way up through the country was closed. But in Berlin, you could still walk across from East to West Berlin. And from West Berlin, you could take the plane out into West Germany. And fleeing the Eastern Bloc was much more feasible for a person in the East Germany as it was from someone from Slovakia or Czech Republic or Hungary at the time, given the simple fact that there used to be one country just a couple years ago and both of the countries speaks German. And thus, many East Germans did decide to flee in the first 15 years or so, especially those affluent ones, skilled workers, doctors, etc., that knew they could earn more money if they went to the free market economy of the West. And this was ultimately the last loophole to escape East Germany before 1990 or 1989, when the wall came down. Check this out. Up on the arch up here, it says SS. I'm not sure if that is a leftover by the Nazis. Surely not, because it's completely new, this wall. But anyways, it is now time for me to jump on a train and head over to Dresden, because in Dresden lies more answers to what life would have been like. We're going to meet with my friend Kevin and his wife Michelle, who was born and raised in East Germany, in Dresden. There he is. Big man Kevin.
Yeah, all good?
How are you today?
Oh,
there's your umbrella. All good,
no
yeah.
problem. Right?
Right. Did you come with your wife today?
Yes.
So we're in Dresden with Kevin.
And now drive to Stadion?
Stadion, yes.
Fußball.
Because we're here to go to the Dresden Stadium. This is a big metaphor for what life was like in the DDR. Let's get to that very interesting story over there. Here we have it, Rudolf Habeck Stadion. We're on the main entrance side of the Dynamo Dresden stadium here. We're coming up to the fan entrance over here. Ah, we can get a little look inside. Yeah. They'll say, no, if not. I'll just take a look. Seems like the guy is cutting the grass and the gate is open, so let's just go ahead and take a little look inside the stadium. The worst that can happen is that they're going to tell me to piss off. See here. There we go. And up here we have the hardcore ultra stand. That's where the main fans stand every day, or at the home games, of course. And there you go, the logo down there at the other end of the stadium, and the fella cutting the grass. Dynamo Dresden has the most hardcore fans of all of Germany. Hello. Some of the best fans of all of Germany. They are known to be super anti-state. And how does that happen? Why are they so anti-state? So Dynamo Dresden won the Meisterschaft, or the championship, back in 1953. And the Stasi leader at the time, called Erich Mielke, thought he wasn't going to have it. So basically, he said, I am going to move your team to Berlin, to the capital. And he simply ordered the movement of the team Dynamo Dresden to Berlin, such that the capital, in a good communist fashion, must have the greatest team of the country. That left Dynamo Dresden without any team. All their players had been moved by the state to work from Berlin to play for the Berlin team. Dynamo Dresden had to start all over again with youth players and whatever they could gather together from lower leagues here in East Germany. And even though they had such a tough start, they came back and won the Meisterschaft in '71 and subsequently went on to win 8 Meisterschafts, 8 championships. Okay, so he's sending me away. So, as I was saying, they came back to win 8 Meisterschafts, 8 titles, and 7 Eastern German Cup titles as well. This reaction, this treatment from the state, from the Stasi, obviously fostered a deep hatred or a deep anti-state feel to the club and to the fans and to the supporters. So this here is the entrance from the outside into the stadium for the hardcore fans, the ultras of Dynamo Dresden. You see how they've plastered all of the rails, the guardings here, with the stickers of the teams. The German fans absolutely love their stickers. You see these stickers all over the city. There you go. ACAB, you know what that means. Anti-state. Now to some of the more modern day history of Dynamo Dresden. Dynamo Dresden went on to win the last title of the East German Football League, meaning they would enter the first edition of a Bundesliga of a reunited Germany. This is where the metaphor comes in for what it has been like for most of East Germany after reunification. Dynamo Dresden simply didn't have the money required to compete with the Western German teams. Thus, they were relegated instantly in the first season. And ever since, Dynamo Dresden has been a third tier, primarily a third tier, sometimes second tier team here in Germany, playing in the 3rd division. But as you see, they still have a huge stadium. They are well supported and has been well supported throughout the history, even as the club has struggled with settling into life after reunification. But it is, as I say, a very good image, a very good metaphor for life for Eastern Germany. Most of Eastern Germany has struggled massively with life of a reunified Germany. You said you moved to Baden-Württemberg, Karlsruhe in '93 with your family as well.
Yes.
Was this due to some of the same? Like many people from the old DDR moved quickly to West Germany because all the jobs went away in the East Germany and there was not so much money, so many jobs, so you had to go to the West Germany?
We lived with my aunt, with my grandmother, grandfather, but I think the mentalität of the
mentality
of the person is a little bit different.
The mentality of someone from the East and
Yes.
someone from the West?
Yes.
Still today?
Yes, I think so. The East people are a little bit open,
Yeah?
and the people from West, it's a little bit. I think I can't explain. It's
Like closed-minded or something?
Yes. It's everyone. It's a little bit for himself.
Formal?
Himself for.
Okay. For himself, yeah.
Yeah.
Individual.
Yes. The East people having quickly friends and were happier. Yes.
You think that still today there's a difference between people, and the East German people are more social
Yes.
and more socialist as well?
Yes.
Because here in East Germany there's more, it seems to be a little bit more conservative than West Germany. Konservativ
Yeah.
in East Germany
Yes.
than West Germany.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Genau. It's right.
How old were you when you moved to West Germany? To Karlsruhe?
12.
12, okay. So you remember a little bit of the East German life
Yes.
of DDR?
Yes, I remember. I have in the school we have pioneer uniform.
Okay.
It's a short blue skirt, blue blouse,
Yeah.
and
A shirt.
yeah, and like stewardess. So
Okay, like a hat.
yes, and red band, yes, also Schal.
Handkerchief type of thing.
I have a very good Kindheit, also
Childhood.
childhood,
Yeah.
but we live in an old Bahnhof.
Yeah. Bahnhof train station.
Yeah, train station, in an old train station, and we live far from the city.
Here near to Dresden.
Yes,
Okay.
and I have a school, big school.
The way to school.
The way to school was 1 hour.
1 hour. Oh,
Yes.
but with train.
No. To Fuß.
Walking.
Yes.
There was no bus.
No. No. It's es gab kein Bus. It's
There was no bus.
no bus.
In general, there was no buses in East Germany. That can't be true. Surely there was buses in East Germany, no?
Right, but it was wenig.
Few,
Few.
not so many.
Yes, few.
Okay,
bus and
few buses.
Few buses and few train. Here, train. Straßenbahn.
Yeah, the trams.
Yes.
The ones that roll between the cars on the street.
Yes. When I was a child, I have a packet from East Germany from my grandmother and grandfather, because it was things in the packet where we don't have in East Germany.
And this was not allowed.
This was allowed, but we can't buy this in East Germany, and we have. But I'm afraid to this packet when we was chewing gums. We don't have in East Germany soap. We don't have in East Germany books. We don't have in East Germany, but in East Germany we have a small Auswahl.
Okay, yeah, small. There wasn't as many products
Yes.
of each type
Yes,
of product.
Yes, and when
Okay.
we have products where we have spent many money on this, because it's very teuer.
Expensive.
Expensive, yes, and we have many months and years. Sparen auf Englisch, sparen.
Saving up money. I
Saving the
think.
money over many years or months.
But was the product in a good quality?
Um,
The East German product.
I think yes.
And what about the education? Because many people say the East German education system was quite good, and there was many women that was working in East Germany. It was the country with the highest female labor participation, even to this day.
I can't say this because I'm a little one.
Yes.
But my mom worked in a Fernmeldeingenieur.
Okay, like an engineer.
German yes.
Engineer.
Yes.
Engineer.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
This
that's
is the
beautiful.
This is the Carola Schlösschen.
There we go. Check that out. The castle here is built in honor of Carola, the queen of the Saxony royal family back in 1818, the birth year of Karl Marx, another important figurehead in this region of Germany. That was back in the days before modern day Germany, before a united Germany. In the time when Bayern was a monarchy, Saxony was a monarchy, and Saarland was a monarchy, and different countries, different what we know today as Bundesländer, were all basically monarchies of their own. So it's not as old as it actually looks like, but the detail is spectacular, and I'm guessing that that is Carola up there, sitting, looking out over her garden in towards Dynamo Dresden Stadion, which is basically right down there. Check out the detail on that guy on the entrance here. It's looking scary. That is a beautiful castle, isn't it? And so it was destroyed during the Second World War, much like all of Dresden city was destroyed in the Second World War, right at the end of the Second World War, may I tell you. A very, to this day, controversial attack happened on Dresden. So we're talking in February 1945, when the war ended in May 1945. The whole city was flattened. About 25,000 people were killed in that attack. A mixture of the British Air Forces and the American Air Forces carried out this attack, and still to this day it is argued that it was completely unnecessary, because at the time the war had basically already been won anyways. So why did you need to destroy this beautiful city? All the old city of Dresden was destroyed. Nowadays they have built it back up to look basically identical to what it looked before this attack. Beautiful. So as you can see, I am absolutely soaked. We got caught in the rain, so we changed the plans. We're back at the train station. Kevin and Michelle has to go and pick up their kid from the kindergarten, but before we do so, we're just gonna say goodbye to one another with a beer. And then I am on my own, exploring for the rest of the day. Cheers. Prost. Thanks for showing me around.
No problem.
And thanks for the umbrella. I might need that later on today. Very good. Well, that's gonna be a cheers from Dresden Hauptbahnhof, and I'll keep exploring. So we all know the iconic images of November 9th, 1989, when the East Berliners climbed the Berlin Wall and the West Berliners were greeting them on the other side. But what was the story leading up to these iconic images on November 9th, 1989? Well, parts of that story starts right here in the square in front of the St. Nikolai's Church, right here in Leipzig. For already in the early 80s, a group of peace and environmentalist protesters has started a peaceful protest each Monday right here on the square. And slowly but steadily, support for these protests grew. During September, reaching into October, the crowds were as large as 70,000 people gathering right here in the square in front of the church for Monday protests. At the beginning, the slogan was "Wir wollen raus," or that means in English, "We want out." They were marching around in the streets around central Leipzig in protest of, in peaceful protest, let that be said, of the German Democratic Republic. And by 9th of October 1989, despite facing rumors of violent crackdowns from the state, the slogan changed from "Wir wollen raus" to "Wir sind das Volk," or meaning "We are the people." The security forces lacked clear orders from the failing government up in Berlin, and thus the security forces never actually carried out this violent attack. And hereby, by 9th of November 1989, only a month later, from the slogan changing from "Wir wollen raus" to "Wir sind das Volk," German Democratic Republic had failed, and the iconic images up on the Berlin Wall happened. 40 years of an oppressive East German dictatorship had fallen, and Germany was once again reunited.